Well, Captain Kerry, welcome back to Us Weekly.
Thanks for having me.
It's great seeing you.
You as well.
Jam-packed, action-packed season right off the bat.
There is so much going on.
Yeah.
It's actually confusing on which way we're going.
Right? You're like, I don't remember what happened. This was a wild ride.
Yes.
Did you approach this season any differently than you have in previous seasons?
No, not at all. Other than now that I've seen what happened last season, and now that I've seen what's already happened this season, it's a little overwhelming.
It is,
Yes.
yeah. Was there any changes that you wanted to make personally as a captain after last season, going into this season at all?
Definitely on how we started off the season. I wanted the crew to meet before the vessel in a neutral environment, and we also changed things up with the preference sheet meeting.
Yeah.
It's more natural having myself talk with the deck crew, so they can keep getting the boat ready, instead of sitting there while I'm talking with the steward, the stew, and the chef about interior business.
Yeah.
So we're just keeping it separate, and we'll see how it works out for us this season.
Do you feel like the show has made you a better captain?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can reflect on how I am, because I'm in a unique situation where I can actually take a good hard look at myself for 12 weeks.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you're like, the camera's on.
Yes.
Yes. Is there anything going back you're like, I'm so glad that this kind of did shine a light on this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anything that you can say?
No, there's no light shown, so it never happened.
Yeah, it's never happened. Yeah. Well, you're reunited with Fraser again this season. Do you
Yes.
feel like the two of you have really figured one another out?
He's a fantastic stew.
Yeah.
He's a great bloke. We work very well together. I believe we help each other elevate.
Yeah, he said that this season that the crew really worked very well together. What do you credit that to? Obviously, there's bumps in the road here and there, but what do you credit that to?
First, a lot of bumps in the road.
Yeah.
We had some very challenging guests.
Yeah.
We had some challenging crew on board the vessel that we had to make some changes with. And we're in 4 different countries, 3 islands, 4 countries, a lot of moving around. We had a 5-day charter, which has never been done before.
Okay.
That's a lot for the crew to take on. So, but they come together, they pulled together, and they did an amazing job in the end.
Well, what is that one piece of advice that you always give the crew at the beginning of the season?
Is just take your time with it. Like, learn to settle in. Don't put too much pressure on yourself from the start.
Yeah.
It's very overwhelming having guests arriving within 24 hours, not knowing the boat, not knowing your crewmates. Just take a moment.
Yeah, and you also have some very green crew members with Celine. I think she only had, 3 weeks experience before she was stepped up?
She might have fudged those numbers a little bit.
Really? She had 3 hours maybe?
The amount of time she actually worked versus how long she was on the boat, I'm sure we can debate that.
What was it like having somebody that was so inexperienced?
We had to make some hard decisions with her, but to me she was like the court jester.
Okay.
She brought so much awesome energy on the boat. She was so much fun. She spoke unfiltered.
Sure.
Her command of the English language and the words that she would use was just so humorous. I mean, in the first episode, I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, but were you like, how did you get this job?
And I'm amazed on how patient Barbara is with her as well.
Right. Well, no, it does seem like maybe the two of them do kind of butt heads a little bit, but maybe that was just, she wanted her to do so much more.
No, there was some button heads.
There's some butting heads. There really is. Oh my God, I can't wait to see what happens. But we do see Lawrence, the chef, struggle very much in the first episode.
Yes.
What was that like for you as a captain? Because not only is he coming on this ship that he's never been on before, he's the chef, but he's also got to deal with all these cameras around him.
Well, for me, it was like a flashback to Chef Anthony. You know, very talented chef.
Yeah.
And the cameras can really throw them off. They're artists. These chefs, they're an artist. And if they're not in their environment isn't the way they want, it can be very challenging for them. So I could see it early on. I could see his struggles, and I spent a lot of time with him to help him assimilate to this TV world and being on a super yacht with no time to get ready.
Yeah. Was that ever difficult for you to adjust? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. My very first season, it was challenging because I'm used to being the running everything, and within the show there are some things that are planned for you. All right. So we already had anchorages scouted out to choose from, and when you come in and have something already prepared for you that you didn't prepare yourself, you're not as confident going into that space.
Sure, yeah,
you know what I mean?
throws you off a little bit.
So you're relying on others to get things done, but you would normally do yourself. But now I'm very happy for them to do it for me.
Right? Yeah. So you're like, I'm good. Thank you so much. Tell me where to show up.
Well, it's a trust thing, you know,
Of course,
and we built trust, and you know the production is very good at capturing on what I do, and I really feel they represent how I operate a vessel true.
What was interesting for me, though, too, is that we kind of see the breaking of the fourth wall, too. We see Lawrence really talk to the producers, being like, you can't film me right now. Does that ever happen as well? And then we just don't see it?
No, it doesn't happen.
Okay.
So the crew are not to talk to the fourth wall.
Sure,
I do. I'm the captain because there'll be some times I may need to.
Yeah.
And then there'll be times where I'll be chatting with crew and they'll kind of start talking about it, and I'll kind of lure them back away from that place.
Okay.
But in that situation with Lawrence, he was losing it.
Yeah.
And we can see in the episode that I could hear that there's yelling, and I don't put up with anyone yelling at anybody. Unless I'm doing it. So I raced down to kind of rescue the situation, and I've been supporting Lawrence, but sometimes you've got to be a little more assertive.
Yeah.
Right? So I had to go down there and do captain shit.
Do captain shit, yeah. Do you feel like you handled it in the best way that you could have?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's no regrets on how we supported Lawrence to succeed.
Yeah. Do you feel like he regretted that moment? Because it was a big
course.
learning curve.
Absolutely, because he's got a lot of pressure and he's not used to this, and he just needed a moment.
Yeah.
But when we're under the most pressure, that's when the cameras are closest.
Sure, of course. You're going to get right in there. Those are the moments that us as fans want to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I try not to look stressed. But
right.
I have no poker face. They know.
Yeah. I know you can't tell me exactly what happened, but are you happy with how he kind of developed over the course of the season?
I had high hopes for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see what happens. High hopes for Kyle this season.
Yes. Well, Kyle had high hopes, and he, we saw the first episode, and I really wanted to see him last the whole season and really elevate him, and we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, we'll see how that turns.
There's rules on the boat, and you break a rule, you can't be there anymore.
Yeah, well, when Fraser was here, he said that obviously Kyle, it seems like he got together with a guest that was married, and that was kind of the start of the downward spiral. That's what Fraser said. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, well, we're going to see how it all develops on the show. If one of my staff is with a married person on the boat, they're not going to stay on the boat.
Yeah.
You're breaking a boundary there that you can't cross. Kyle works very hard. He has a lot of respect. Last season, he was led astray by the bosun,
right?
And but I think he needs to keep it in his pants.
Yes, is that like the number one rule for you? Like, cannot cross that line with a guest?
Well, if I don't find out about it, it never happened, right?
It never happened.
The tree falls in the wood and there's no one around. Does it make a noise?
True.
But if I find out about it, well, there's consequences.
Yeah. Are you anxious to see exactly what? Because obviously you don't see and hear everything, but you will once we watch this back. Are you anxious to see what kind of happens?
Yeah. So there was an investigation done.
Okay.
I'm not too sure how much that would be shown, but I did a thorough investigation before I made my decision. So it'd be interesting to see what happens after I interviewed each of the crew members, what was actually said behind. And that's what's exciting for me is I don't get to see what's going on below deck because I'm in the wheelhouse or I'm over here and I can't be everywhere. And I don't micromanage. I allow my crew to grow, and I like to be here and there to help encourage people. And there's a lot I don't see, and there's even more I don't want to see.
Of course, yeah. Were you disappointed, though, because like you said, he was led astray last season? Were you hoping that he would step up to that leadership role, which he so wanted to at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, well, remember last season, he didn't have much more experience than Celine.
Sure, yeah, right, that's true.
Right, but he has a very strong work ethic.
Yeah.
And he's a very good crew member to have around. Like he doesn't have any ego. He gets the job done. He works hard.
Yeah.
And I want to see him to grow in the ranks. I want to see him continue in the franchise, and let's see if he can't be a bosun one day.
Yeah.
But maybe that's over for him.
Maybe that's over. We'll have to wait and see. Oh no. Kind of going back to last season a little bit, were you disappointed to see what Ben had to say on and off camera?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was very disappointing. I don't quite get it because Sonny worked for me. I have my own company in Florida, Yachting Concepts, and Sonny come work for me after the season, and Ben was asking for work as well to come work for me. You know, everything that happened in the show, I believe in second chances for everybody. He was trying to get work. I was encouraging him, trying to give him guidance, and then he didn't like something I said in an interview, which was factual, and I guess he thought he was the star, and that he was trying to drag me down. So it had no weight. So it was very, very disappointing for him. It really affected his employment opportunities because he acted out against a captain.
Sure.
And it was regardless you're on a TV show or not, you act out against a captain. What do you think other captains are going to feel?
Sure.
They're not going to trust you. So it's very disappointing that he did do that, because he with his ego aside, he's very good at his job, but his ego got in the way.
Has he ever reached out to apologize or anything like that? No, he's not expecting it either.
No, I haven't. And he's he kind of dragged Sonny into it as well. And it's disappointing, because airing your grievances don't help. No. And I had numerous opportunities to fire him throughout the season, but I wanted to keep giving him an opportunity. So at the end of the season, I actually even spoke to him, and this is the interesting part, is I approached him and said, hey mate, we're going to do a cabin inspection. I want you to make sure all the cabins are done right. Yeah. So that's what we didn't see, is I actually asked him to let the crew know how important it is. And then I have to do it. It's part of my structure of the vessel. It's a list that the MCA have put together that I have to do it. It's a legal requirement of my job to do cabin inspections. So I had to do it. But I waited to later in the season to give everyone a chance to kind of find their footing. So I asked him to inform the crew how important it is.
Sure, yeah.
And then he was the only one who didn't do it.
Interesting.
So that was a real slap on the face.
You regret not firing him?
I would have fired him on ego, and he made his decision to act how he did after the fact is on him. Yeah.
Well, moving on to this season, we see in this very explosive trailer that there's police helicopters. Possibly, I think you maybe teased in another interview that things may have gotten physical with a guest. Is that correct? Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so kind of tell me a little bit, if you can tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah. It's, so we're not there yet. So I'm not too sure what's exactly being captured. But yeah, I've never called the police to help me out. Yeah. I have asked police to not come because of loud music.
Right. You're like, you got it under control.
Well, I got this, I've been in Saint-Tropez in France, and there's a rock party upstairs at 3 a.m. The French don't like that. But I've never had to involve the police on any issues on the boat, and it really, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to bring reproach on the vessel, but my main job is the safety of my passengers, the crew, and the vessel. And this guest was acting unsafe, especially to herself, and I was not in a position to take care of that problem internally, because she wouldn't listen. So I had to post crew all over the vessel to make sure she wouldn't do anything silly.
Oh man.
I talked to the guest to try to get her to understand. But when people have a lot to drink, their personality changes.
Sure, yeah.
So, I saw it was compassion. I could see she was hurting, and she was striking out at us because of her own pain. Okay. And this wasn't a place for us to solve her issues.
Right, yeah. It must have been pretty bad for you to have to get that involved, yeah.
It was, and then especially we're on the French side, and I don't speak French. Yeah. So I needed Fraser to translate between myself and the police.
Oh man, it's going to be a wild season.
That trailer, that's just the tip of the iceberg of what's coming.
Right, and you have kind of teased, and we do see it in the trailer, that somebody does get fired this season. What does it take for you to ultimately sit somebody down and be like, you cannot work for me anymore?
Well, when you asked about whether the show has made me a better captain, and before the TV show, when I'd fire somebody, it was emotionally charged. That you've let me down, you haven't achieved, you haven't said what you said you would do, and it was an emotionally charged firing. Where now it's compassion. It's like you're just not making the cut. Yeah. You're good at your job. You're here for a reason, but you're not making the cut. You're not thriving in this environment, and that's how the firing's done. So it's taken with a lot of thought, a lot of consideration. I care about these people. I care about how it affects them. not succeeding, believing that they can, and knowing the whole world's going to see it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I have a job to do. I'm there to offer 5-star plus service. I'm there to make Four Seasons look like amateur hour.
Sure, yeah.
And if you are not bringing that level, you can't be on the boat.
What about when it comes to guests now? After some unruly guests this season, probably some of the most challenging guests that you've ever had. Do you ever have rules now when it comes to guests? Have your views on guests changed at all?
Well, yeah, so, we're in yachting.
Yeah.
So yachting guests are not easy.
Right.
Right? Because there's no ways you can go in luxury to get the experience that a yacht can provide. There's nothing above us.
Yeah.
So you being difficult is just you want your needs met. And that's fine. But if you're rude, insulting, demeaning, you're off.
You're off, yeah. And you'll cut that charter short.
Yeah, and I have.
Yeah. And you have.
And you'll see.
And you'll see. Is that the first time you ever did that?
No.
No, okay.
No, it's throughout my career, it's been more than once that I've had to do that. And sometimes it's a matter of just getting rid of one person, and sometimes it's the whole charter.
Oh man, I am excited. Yes. You're not messing around this season. Are there any other wild below deck secrets that fans and viewers may be surprised to know about?
Any other secrets?
Yeah, I feel like you've given us so many good little nuggets.
I don't. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything particular. Other than it's just this to me. I was surprised on the what's the word? All the hookups.
Yeah. Oh my God! It seems like literally everybody locked lips this season.
There's a particular crew member who wasn't performing.
Okay.
And they were like my star, and I could just see the decline. Yeah. And I don't know what's going on. After seeing the preview, now I know why.
Now you know why. Do you ever feel like you're like a love counselor on these? Do people come to you?
To love? No.
For like advice when it comes to these boatmances, or do you kind of stay out of it?
Because I'm all, no PDA. If it's happening, I don't want to see it. Yes. I was crew, so I understand what happens.
Yes.
Right. But I do, in fact, we get deep in mental health. I'm a big advocate for mental health. And with my crew, I have many a discussion, of where our head's at. Because it's a real thing, and I want them to know there's a safe place to talk with me.
And do you feel like they welcome that, I'm sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and some people it takes, it's hard to talk to the captain about where they really feel, because they're the boss and they want to be seen as a certain way. But I show them that vulnerability is really strength.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you and the other captains from the Below Deck franchises, do you ever swap notes or anything like that? Well, don't hire this person, hire this person.
Not so much, but Captain Glenn and I, we're like brothers from another mother. Okay. And people are consistently mistaking us for each other.
Yes.
We don't look that much the same, but I was at a convention in DC a couple of weeks ago. And it was a shipbuilders convention. So there's like senators, admirals there, and all that kind of stuff, and people are recognising me. And I joked about how people think that I'm Glenn. And 3 days later on LinkedIn, someone wrote, "We think we saw Captain Glenn at the shipbuilders convention."
That's hysterical.
So Glenn and I have so much fun with it. We're always joking. I say that I'm his stunt double. I say that I'm his stunt double.
Yes.
What I mean? And we have so much fun. Lee and Sandy have been fantastic on helping me navigate the below deck world. Yeah. And Jason's an Aussie bloke. We're good mates. We have a good laugh. Yeah. So it's a really good environment to be part of. Sure, definitely. It's a lovely community. Yes. Yeah. So when we're watching this season, when it comes to crew, who should we look out for? Who's got some red flags, or who impressed you the most right off the bat? Jess. Jess. Yeah. No doubt. Jess. She's an incredible human being. She just knows where to be. Yeah. And she knows her way around the ladies as well. Right, yes, as we can see. As we can see, yes. Literally, did that take you by? You were like, oh, okay, everybody is. So yes, even Frasier's getting in. I know, right? Like everyone was getting up for it. Like I was amazed. And then I think we're really going to have a lot of fun watching Selene. Okay. You'll see me calling her So as well. Yes, she's unfiltered, and this first episode, I've never laughed so hard watching Below Deck. Right, yeah, it's great. I think we're going to see that throughout the season. Yeah, hopefully no more lost luggage either. I hope not. That was not good.
No, not good. Was that a first for you?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and you know, we picked up on the Dutch side and we're on the French side before we realised it.
Yeah.
So you could see my face. I was far from impressed.
Right, all the color just drained from your face.
Yeah, it was just like, how?
Yeah,
you know.
right.
So, but no, we were able to get luggage out to the boat, and we sorted that out,
Sure.
and then we'll see how that the rest of the charter goes.